Hi everyone, it's me, Rajika, and we're here with part 3. We're talking about juvenile justice in Quebec. We're talking about the civil lawsuit Lindsay versus Quebec. And we're talking about the way children are treated under youth protection in the province. So yesterday I introduced you to one of the characters in my story, and that was Jillian Cosgrove. So she was the reporter that wrote a story in the Montreal Gazette in the early to mid 70s that brought on the lawsuit that is now making its way through Quebec courts. Today, I want to introduce you to the lead plaintiff, Eleanor Lindsay. She is featured in these clips from the Fifth Estate that I'm going to show you. And I'm just going to let her introduce and tell her story through her words in that. So let's just give it a listen here.
I found out later on that my father signed me into Article 15 ward of the court without my mother's knowledge, but we had to go in front of the judge, and they just said, okay, well, take that one to Marion Hall. And I'm thinking, what's Marion Hall?
Marion Hall is an institution, detention center in Beaconsfield, Quebec. And I remember this lady, some lady, brought me up and told me to sit on this bed.
Okay, just for a little context, I moved to Beaconsfield in 1977. So Marion Hall was a few blocks from my house, and it was an institution that I drove past almost every day. I didn't ever realize that it was a girls' detention center till I was actually an adult. And
Overly jail-like. Well, it's a bloody good thing they closed it, is what I think. What pisses me off is, I mean, if everybody on the outside knew they were supposed to be changing the rules in there, they didn't. We were still being put in isolation. We were still being locked in our rooms. We were still being drugged. Like, nothing changed for us. You know, I've never stopped talking about that building. I've never stopped walking those halls. He's bending her thumbs, I'm sure, for starters. Like, they used to just take your hand like that, like bend your thumb backwards so you wouldn't have a choice but to follow his arm. And that's how they treated me my very first day. And I had just turned 13, but they cuffed me and they took me down to the basement because I was crying.
Okay, so what you have to understand is when I was watching this Fifth Estate episode, I was in sheer shock, really, because everything that they had been talking about, I had experienced 10 years later in the very same system, not the same placement, but being placed under youth protection. So these stories hit very close to home. And what I did immediately after watching it, I saw it on YouTube, I made a YouTube comment, and the very first person that responded to me was Raymond Hurd, Jillian Cosgrove's husband. I went today, well, you can see the comment here, and I realized this years ago, though, that he has since removed that comment. But here's the timeline. The application for the class action is filed by Lev Alexeev on October 2nd, 2019. The episode, the clips you're just watching, that was uploaded to YouTube on October 6th. It doesn't give me the exact date of my comment, but that would be the 6th, 7th, 8th, because my first email correspondence with Raymond first and then Jillian was on October 10th.
It was every day. It was us against them. It was always the same warning. If you don't stop what you're doing, you know what's going to happen. And that's the end of it, right? You're in isolation by the end of the day. You never win.
Okay, so I'm going to wrap this video up. Now you have met Jillian Cosgrove, and you've met the lead plaintiff, Eleanor Lindsay, which the civil lawsuit is named after her, Lindsay versus Quebec. And in the next video, I'm going to introduce you to Lev Alexeev, who is the lead counsel. I do want to talk a lot more about Jillian and about Eleanor and my experience. And, you know, it's really the genesis of how I became one of the administrators and the current administrator of a Facebook group of plaintiffs in this lawsuit. Anyways, I hope you'll follow along. Yeah, so next up, Lev Alexeev.